you know, I'd always imagine like just going up there with a whole bunch of people having the time of our lives, but yeah, so yeah, like I said, I was really excited for this. We all knew it was coming eventually. So when the time came, I knew that we couldn't fuck this up. Because if you can imagine, we're driving up there and we're going up there for like this convention thing. And it's for every single girl in the entire nation who's a part of this group. And I didn't want to get there and piss them off and be in a room with over 300 girls basically bullying you, right? So, anyways, I'm with 6 other girls. One of these girls, sorry, just the thought of her gets me like really angry. I know you guys know like those types of people where they think they're like fucking godsend of like on this planet. They think like they are so above everyone, like everyone lacks all this artistic creativity and you know, you never match up to like their fucking like vision and shit, right? Well, she was one of those people. 2 of us got smart and they decided to fly up there and go to the convention early. Well, the rest of us, we were all cheap asses. But we were cheap asses, so what we decided to do was we decided to, we decided to rent a car, and we would just split the gas and the cost of the rental car. But what we didn't know was that we had to be 21 plus or have your license for at least 2 years in order to rent one. None of us were 21, and the one person who was didn't have her license yet. I was kind of funny that way. Anyway, so the big day finally comes, and oh my god, this bitch. Alright. In a group text with plans. And so for me, I initiate the text, and I'm like, hey, I'll drive first, since I can navigate through LA pretty well, since I'm from there. To which she replied, and just a side note, she types exactly how she speaks. And I'm like, and yeah, so anyways, yeah, so she actually talks like that, right? And I know this is through text, but she managed to somehow, what's it called? Yeah, sorry, I made a typo. Anyways, yeah, so I replied, oh, okay, I'll drive after you so that, I'll drive after so that you don't get tired and we'll take turns after that. Okay, I'll stop here and I'll admit that I can only imagine her driving to be exactly the way she talks, right? So I wanted her to maybe drive like 5 miles at most, and I'm saying at most, and what I really mean is like, yeah, you can drive me out of the parking lot, but after that, it's my turn to drive. Yeah, so she got pissed because like this huge like tension was built up between just the text. So the time finally came for her to come pick me up, and for us to go up to NorCal. And so I'm standing in the parking lot, and I'm with my luggage, and I'm waiting. And then I hear this loud-ass screech, like, coming towards me. And of course, like, I see, like, this car, and it's speeding, and it's, like, I feel like it's about to hit me, but then it stops. And then I see this fucking bitch, like, she's sitting in the seat, in the driver's seat, right? And I'm still mad from the fight earlier. So I get my luggage, and I put it in the trunk. I get in, and I'm trying to calm myself down, and she starts up the car again. Here we fucking go. As soon as I close the door, this bitch, like, she fucking, like, drives out of the parking lot, and, like, I'm flying towards the, what's it called? Because I'm sitting next to the seat, right? So I fling next to the seat, and while all this is happening, like, I look at her, and she's wearing, like, one of those Eskimo-type hats, the ones that completely, like, cover your vision, and then on top of that, she's, like, still really angry, and, like, she still wants to make it known, right? So she, like, fucking, like, puts on her head, or her hood on top of that, and, like, bitch, honestly, like, why the fuck are you wearing a hood on top of an Eskimo hat when it's already, like, you're wearing a fucking polar bear on your head? And while all this is happening, I'm just thinking, oh my god, I'm about to fucking die. So, literally about 30 minutes into the drive, we're nearing the city of Ocean, or like the city right before you hit Oceanside. I'm sitting right behind the driver's seat, so I'm sitting right behind her, and then the 3 other seats in the car, they're all full. and the girl next to me has somehow managed to fall asleep. And the other two, they're like on the verge of falling asleep. And I'm leaning against the window, and I'm trying to cure the biggest fucking headache I've ever gotten in my entire life. And suddenly I realized the huge ass truck that's in front of us, its brake lights are on. And we're still going 85 miles an hour. We're still not slowing down. I'm thinking like, why the fuck aren't we slowing down? So I look up, and like the girl, she's not, I can't see her head. And I look around, and of course she's leaning over towards the passenger seat. Like her head is ducked down way in there, and she's fucking looking for her phone. And right as I'm figuring out what's about to happen, I scream out her name, and everything that happens after this happens really slowly. And then for this next part, like imagine like this like epic ass like Lord of the Rings like Return of the King shit playing in the background. Like, okay. It literally plays out in my head like a movie. I'm sitting there yelling her name. I'm looking at the girl in the passenger seat, and she flings forward, looking at my roommate, and she also flies against her seat. And the girl who's been sleeping through the fucking destruction of Mount Doom finally decides to wake up and press herself against the two seats in front of her and me. Well, for the past 30 miles, I've already been bracing myself for impact, because honestly, like, I knew this was gonna happen. Seriously, while this is happening, I'm just like, honestly, I'm not even surprised. And I'd like to tell you that that's where it ends, but no, it gets better. So basically, the impact of our small-ass car against, like, the huge truck, it does no damage at all to the truck in front of us. So the guy, he manages to pull off to the right side of the freeway like you're supposed to do. But for us, because we're in a small, like, rental car, everything just decides to be like, no, I'm not gonna work. So everything locks. You can't steer or like maneuver with the steering wheel, and the brakes are locked too. And so the guy, like, you see him, and he's like, you know, out of his car, like, pissed as hell, like, why the fuck aren't you over there? And we're just like, I don't know what you want us to do, we can't stop the fucking car. And then eventually we end up hitting the center divider, and that's how we stop. And so we're there, and we're holding up the traffic, right? And this is at around like 7 p.m. And so traffic was pretty dense already. And yeah, so we hit the center divider, and so there's no way for a police car to come and like sit, or what's it called, like stop next to us. So then we see a police car drive up from the other side of the freeway and stop next to us. And he starts trying to talk to us like over like the huge, what's it called, the sounds of the cars on both sides of the freeway. And so he stops, and he's like, hey, you're breaking the law. Probably. And then he's like, get over there, you're holding up traffic. And I'm just like, honestly, I don't know what you want us to do. We can't move the car. And he kind of just leaves without saying anything. And I'm just like, you're okay. And so I'm there leaning against the center divider, just I don't know what to do. And then so I take in the scene, and everyone's crying. I'm pretty sure we're about to get arrested at some point when it goes back. And the guy over there, he's still waiting for us to pull over to the side of the freeway, and he's still pissed off. And what's it called? And then I'm thinking to myself, yeah, and we're about to get bullied by some girls in a couple hours, and I'm really just not in the mood. Suddenly I look up. Yeah, so suddenly I look up from like the scene that I was taking in, and because we were going down like this huge hill, going towards Oceanside, and I see like the traffic that was already pretty bad. It starts densing up, and you can tell that like the cars are like getting bumper to bumper, and so you see all these cars, they're kind of flooding, and then as soon as they start getting closer to us, I see a police car in every single lane. And they're slowing the entire traffic right before they hit our car. So they stop, or they close the entire freeway just for us. And I'm looking at this bitch, I'm just like, do you see what you fucking did? And, so I'm seeing the headlights twinkle for miles. And now that I think about it, it's kind of a little romantic. Had we not been in that situation. But yeah, so like, we're yelled to get off the freeway, and we somehow managed to get off. The guy whose truck we hit yells at us a little bit. This policeman yells at us a little bit. Her friend drives down and she yells at us a little bit. We're getting calls left and right from the girls up in NorCal and they yell at us a little bit. And I'm trying to do damage control, so I'm getting yelled at all this time. And I'm kind of over people yelling and being mean to me. So I kind of just like, I remove myself from the scene, or from like the entire like drama, and we're at this gas station, right? And so I go to like where all of our luggage is, and then I kind of just sit down there with my roommate, and what's it called? Yeah, so the girl who caused all of this, she doesn't want to talk to any of us, and she's being a big bitch, and I'm just like, okay, you can go be a bitch by yourself, that's fine. And then she, what's it called? I really don't know what happened with the whole car thing, but sorry. Okay. Yeah, sorry. So that happens, and then I really don't know why we did this, and we act like we do this every day, but we really don't. But I go to my roommate, and we just decide, let's just start rapping. I really don't know why. Like, I'm obviously not a rapper. So I dropped the only beat that I know, and it's that one is like that basic ass one. So I guess I'm so I apologize in advance for sounding like a nerd. And then we just start going at it. So it's like going down the highway, trying to get to San Jose. Nothing going our way. We're gonna get there some way. I-5 tripping. That's it.
Let's take a 5-minute bathroom break, and there's snacks on that table. 5 minutes, and then we'll come back.
I'm also looking lost.